Vandaag in Schandalig Hollywood. Macaulay Culkin werd rijk en beroemd door zijn rol in Home Alone. Topmodel Elle Macpherson werd het slachtoffer van een inbraak en chantagepraktijken. Elle Macpherson behoort tot de selecte groep vrouwen die de titel topmodel dragen. Ze is een van de mooiste en meest gefotografeerde vrouwen ter wereld en heeft in talloze tijdschriften en boeken gestaan. Journaliste Carla Hall zag Macphersons ster rijzen.
She started in Australia modeling when she was 17. She needed some money for school. She went to New York on what she thought would be a 2-week vacation, and she essentially never returned. It took her a while to get started. There were some lean years, and after about 3 years, she was making money.
Francesco Scavallo is modefotograaf. Mede dankzij zijn foto's is Macpherson een ster geworden.
I mean, she's like a goddess. Tall, beautiful, great body, beautiful bosoms, beautiful skin. Easy to work with, charming, wonderful girl.
Macpherson is vooral bekend geworden door het blad Sports Illustrated. Ze stond maar liefst 4 keer op de cover, vaker dan andere modellen.
I mean, it's an amazing body and she has wonderful expressions. And there's nothing you can do bad with her.
Volgens Cavallo en Hall onderscheidt ze zich van andere sterren doordat ze altijd zichzelf is gebleven. In 1997 bereikte haar carrière een hoogtepunt. Ze speelde in Batman and Robin naast George Clooney en in Sirens naast Hugh Grant. Ze ontwierp een lingerielijn en was mede-eigenaar van een trendy restaurant in New York. Ook privé was ze gelukkig. Zij en haar vriend R.P. Busson verwachten hun eerste kind. In juli van datzelfde jaar werd haar rust wreed verstoord. Er werd ingebroken in haar huis in een van de best beveiligde buurten van Los Angeles.
It was difficult for her to talk about. We were sitting in the house that had been broken into. So she felt like she'd been violated, as would anyone whose house had been broken into. And this is not just a house on a little street. This is a house up a hill where it's part of a complex of houses. It's hidden away. You have to go through a gate. You have to be buzzed through. It's such a painful thing to think about your house being robbed like that.
De buit bedroeg $6.000. Ook werden compromitterende foto's gestolen.
The most sensitive material that they took were about 30 photographs of her in which she was nude, or mostly nude. She herself took these photos with a timer.
Elle ontdekte de diefstal van deze intieme foto's pas toen ze een bizarre brief kreeg. In die brief dreigden de daders de foto's op internet te plaatsen. Bij dergelijke zaken wordt vaak de hulp ingeroepen van beveiligingsexpert Don Crutchfield.
Well, celebrities, they always run the risk of blackmail because of who they are, because they're public figures. They always run that risk.
Het geld zou worden overhandigd, maar de afpersers merkten de politie op die ter plekke aanwezig was. Ze verhoogden de eis tot $80.000 en maakten een nieuwe afspraak.
If I'd have been the blackmailers at that point, I would have pulled my horns in and split. But instead of doing that, they upped the ante to $80,000. And then they got caught and they went to jail.
Bij hun arrestatie hadden Michael Mishler en William Holt de bewuste bankbiljetten, gsm's en een pistool bij zich. In de rechtszaal beweerde Mishler dat hij Macphersons minnaar was en vaak bij haar over de vloer kwam.
She denied it. This is the story he went with. That's a good defense. It's certainly a good one for the burglary part.
Kevin James, Macphersons advocaat, ontkende dit in alle toonaarden.
She has never met Mr. Mishler. She has had no relationship with Mr. Mishler. All of that is false.
Macpherson was razend.
Elle says she had never met the man, and in fact, she sued his lawyer for defamation. She sued his lawyer for slander.
In december 1997 werd Mishler veroordeeld tot een gevangenisstraf van 6 jaar en 8 maanden. Bovendien moest hij ruim $100.000 aan Macpherson betalen. William Holt had maar een klein aandeel in het complot gehad en werd veroordeeld tot 1 jaar gevangenisstraf. Macaulay Culkin was Hollywoods leukste acteurtje. Hij speelde in Uncle Buck naast John Candy en Rocket Gibraltar naast Burt Lancaster. Door zijn rol in Home Alone en Home Alone 2 groeide hij uit tot kindsterretje. Op zijn 10e was hij rijk en beroemd. Showbiz-journalist Elle Macpherson kent Macaulay en zijn familie persoonlijk.
Macaulay was probably the most famous child star since Shirley Temple, and I don't think anyone had the power and the financial success that he's had.
Volgens Macpherson komt Macaulay uit een onconventioneel gezin. Hoewel zijn ouders 7 kinderen kregen, zijn ze nooit getrouwd.
Patricia seems to be somebody who loves her children. Some people think Kid Culkin, he was living out his dreams through his son Macaulay.
Stanford Latwin en Donald Frank zijn nu vennoten. We stonden ooit tegenover elkaar in de rechtszaak rond Macaulay.
They lived in difficult circumstances in a 5-story walk-up in 3 rooms. The mother worked during the day, the father worked in the evening. They were like 2 ships passing by. So they had hard times in the early years.
Volgens Latwin merkten de kinderen dat de relatie tussen hun ouders onder druk stond.
Kit was a very strong, autocratic personality. The children were, frankly, afraid of Kit. They saw his flashes of temper, so they were very gingerly in dealing with their father.
Frank heeft een andere mening over de verhoudingen binnen het gezin Culkin.
He's a very complex man. I saw a lot of kindness on his part. And he could be difficult, but I think he always had his children's best interests at heart.
Daaronder viel ook het stimuleren van Macaulay's acteertalenten.
He had this wonderful, special look that lit up stages. And had a real acting ability.
Hoe meer succes Macaulay had, hoeveel eisender zijn vader werd.
Kid Culkin, you might say, was a disaster in the making. He wanted to be an actor. He was never successful. He lived his fantasy through his children.
And I remember sitting with a former agent of theirs, and when it came to Home Alone 2, the kid was insisting that a certain amount of money be gotten for Macaulay, and he says, "You're never going to get that. No child actor has ever gotten that." The kid said, "That's what I want you to ask for," and they got it.
Macaulay's eerste films werden een kassucces en geen honorarium was te hoog. Maar toen zijn latere films flopten, vond men dat pa Culkin zijn eisen moest bijstellen. Volgens Macpherson was Hollywood het beu.
Macaulay had made 3 films that didn't do very well, and so that gave people in Hollywood an excuse not to use him anymore.
Ook privé werd Kid steeds lastiger. Hij liet zijn baard staan en dat gaf hem een agressief uiterlijk.
This was a man who had other women and who would disappear for periods of time and who drank and who was abusive.
Ook de carrière van Macaulay's broer, Kieran, zat in de lift. Hoe meer succes hij had, hoe hoger het honorarium dat Kid voor hem eiste.
Patricia was worried that he would have the same kind of negative effect on Kieran's career. Also, Patricia had said he had become abusive and difficult to live with as well.
In juni 1995 werd het leven van de kinderen nog roeriger, toen hun moeder een rechtszaak aanspande om de voogdij over de kinderen. Ze voerde aan dat Kid de carrière van de kinderen belemmerde. Na 2 jaar gaf Kid plotseling het recht op voogdij op. Macaulay's kapitaal was veiliggesteld, maar het gezin verkeerde in financiële onzekerheid.
Macaulay has money, and his money is put in trust for him and will vest as he gets older, and he has a certain right to the money. He's been very generous to his family. Kieran has been working, has made some very fine movies. He's a very fine actor.
Hoewel Macaulay het middelpunt was van een verbitterd gevecht, bleef hij zijn familie trouw.
I think Macaulay is a good son, and he will always take care of his mother, and he will take care of his siblings.
Op zijn 17e trouwde Macaulay met de even oude actrice Rachel Minor.
I don't think that Macaulay had to escape his family. He was very happy in the family. He certainly could have, if he wanted, when he became 18, have gotten his own apartment. So I don't believe that marriage was an escape.
Na 2 jaar ging het paar uiteen. In 1994 besloot Macaulay bovendien tijdelijk te stoppen met acteren na Getting Even with Dad, zijn laatste film.
I think that Macaulay is looking for the right part. Does he want to continue in the theater? Does he want to go someplace else? I don't think he quite knows yet.
En dat was het voor vandaag in Schandalig Hollywood.